In the news this week, Liberal Party candidate breaks silence after alleged vandalism threatens family following sex education book controversy. We have the exclusive pictures and videos.
Honoured for his advocacy, Suresh Rajan takes home the WA Senior Award for Perth. Allegedly driving on free rims and ramming police cars. A 21-year-old arrested after a wild car chase in the goldfields. And later, Dr. Andrew Miller's comment.
This is The Evening News with Ivan Loom and Maliva Thorne.
Good evening. A Liberal Party candidate has filed a violence restraint order against a woman after graphic threats were allegedly made against his family. Exclusive images obtained by WAMA News show offensive messages scrawled on Albany candidate Thomas Broug's car. For the first time since the incident, Mr. Brough provided an exclusive video statement to WAMA News.
Like any husband and father, my main concern was protecting my family, particularly my heavily pregnant wife. It was not nice. We've got the best neighbours though who rallied around and supported us, and my whole family is incredibly grateful to WA Police and our justice system who did their job professionally when we needed them. These attempts at intimidation, including stalking, property damage and serious threats, have only made me more determined to serve our community. Our society needs people who are prepared to stand up to bullies, not back down from them. My commitment to this region isn't changing. If anything, it's made me more certain that good leadership means facing challenges head on.
The threats were reportedly linked to the sex education book controversy in Albany earlier this year. Liberal MP David Honey joins us to discuss whether elected members and candidates need more security protection. What do you think of the fact that Thomas Brough being roughed up like that?
Look, I think it's terrible, and I think it's a real problem we see in society. I think a lot of public debate these days is hysterical, and the point is we have to enable a diversity of views in our community, and what we're seeing is that people can't have reasoned discussion, and then individuals feel the entitlement to in fact threaten someone and threaten their life, threaten their family. I think it's just appalling.
Is it true that the polarisation of politics has get to a point where we are learning from what's in America and we learn the bad, not the good?
Yeah, look, I think it's really, I'll be honest, and this sounds like you're being reactionary when you say it, but I think that the social media now drives this. And what happens in social media is, I think many of you you've got a pretty informed audience, Simon, so they'd know. But what it does is it works out what you're interested in just by sort of sending you stuff, and it narrows down, and these are very sophisticated programs, so they effectively psychoanalyse you and they see what pushes your button, because what they want you to do is to constantly stream their feed. And
react to it.
Yeah, well, you see, but the reactions drives that, So basically it just targets your views, if you like. So people aren't getting a diverse range of views in their social media feed, and most people these days get their information from social media. So what you tend to do is that it ramps up, if you like, people's feelings on particular issues. And of course the other part of it is it demonises the opposite, or not even an opposite view. It demonises any view that's even slightly different.
Given what happened to Thomas, is it time to increase more security for elected members? Yeah,
look, I think it depends on who the elected member is. I think certainly it's quite interesting, for example, in the situation we're in the state parliament now. Some people might not know, but Libby Medham, who's the leader of the Liberal Party and someone who I have the deepest respect for, she's not the leader of the opposition, so she gets no driver, she gets no security, she gets nothing. And I think that given the way that we're seeing this sort of extreme behaviour, I hope that we see proper protection for Libby as the leader of the Liberal Party, because...
Has she been threatened?
Look, I would have no idea about that, Ivan, and it would be improper for me to talk about any of those issues. You'd have to ask Libby. But what I do know is that I think the example in Albany wasn't an isolated one. I think there are people who feel increasingly emboldened that they can take physical action. You'd remember Premier Mark McGowan during COVID, where he had people trying to invade his home, his office. I mean, his office staff were threatened. So we are definitely living in a substantially more polarised and, I think, threatening environment for people in public life.
So what's next from here for the party after this incident?
Look, well, I'm obviously, I don't have any accountability or responsibility, nor do I want to interfere in what the party's doing, but I understand Thomas is the candidate, and look, I hope he gets lots of support. I'm sure there are lots of people down in Albany wrapping their arms around him. He's a very decent young man and someone who has a passion around serving his community, so let's hope that he continues to do that. But I can understand, just imagine how his family felt with all of that, his wife and children. It is just appalling that people would do that. Look, if you disagree with someone, you can say that. And both sides, there's always many sides to a debate, not just one opinion. But if you disagree with something someone says, you have the right to say that. What you don't have a right to do is to threaten and intimidate people just because you happen to disagree with their view on something.
The WA Senior Awards winners have been announced, with multicultural advocate Suresh Rajan taking home the Metropolitan Award this week. Mr. Rajan, along with several others, was recognised as an outstanding individual for contributing to an age-friendly Australia. Our reporter Paige Reid spoke with Suresh about his achievement and his upcoming appearance on the WMN News Sundowner.
Suresh Rajan has been working as an advocate for the last 40 years, trying to support people of all different backgrounds. Rajan says one of the biggest challenges he has faced is the subject of disability and migration.
We don't deal with that well in Australia, and we have a long way to go in that respect. So, there's a lot there to unpack and continue to do. But we have to start doing those things.
Rajan says he wishes the younger generations would have more support and were given mentors to be able to support them through hard times. He says there have been cases he has seen where young people have made life-changing decisions because they haven't had mentors or elders to guide them.
All of those things are things that need to be addressed, and the best way to do that is by way of using an elder in the community to mentor these people so that they do not fall between the cracks and then become a liability at some stage.
Rajan has actively been advocating for the Kald community, particularly the Ashwarya health incident that occurred back in 2021, as well as the most recent infant death at Joondalup Hospital. Suresh is the main speaker that will be attending the WAMN News Sundowner, with many other guests to talk about his work and plans for the future. Paige Reid, WAMN News.
And the Sundowner will be held on the 29th of November, with the doors opening from 5:45 at 20 View Street in North Perth. Don't forget to join us there. The full details on our website, wamnews.com.au.
And here are other top stories making news in Perth and WA this weekend.
The Australian Nursing Federation WA has made a snap decision to withdraw its political party application bid for the 2025 state election. The union stated that the move was made after a member poll showed that 63% were against funding and operating a political party. Following the poll, ANF WA Secretary Romina Rochella said the union need to focus its efforts on multiple bargaining negotiations with Ramsay Health, St John of God and the public sector. She believes that the union has many effective means of pressure that are more powerful than a political party, and the ANF will continue to act in good faith during negotiations. Police took a 21-year-old man into custody on multiple charges of reckless driving following an overnight chase through the Kalgoorlie suburbs. At around 10:20 p.m, a grey Audi TT Coupe was seen driving erratically through a car park on the leisure centre on Johnson Street in Somerville. Police attempted to stop the vehicle on King Street, but it's alleged the driver did not stop and sped away. The Audi drove through various streets in a manner that resulted in 2 burst tyres. It is further alleged that the vehicle stopped on Keegan Street, and officers approached the driver before he drove away again, narrowly missing them. At this point, the vehicle was driving on 3 rims. Police were eventually able to stop the Audi in the front garden of a residence on Wingate Street, where the 21-year-old man was taken into custody. During the chase, 3 police vehicles were rammed by the Audi. No one was injured during the incident. The 21-year-old has been charged with numerous driving offences. He appeared before the Kalgoorlie Magistrates Court this week.
The opposition has announced plans to make public transport genuinely free on Sundays and for school children in uniform if elected. The party has also pledged to refund fines given to over 13,000 West Australians who were penalised for using free public transport without a smart rider. Liberal leader Libby Medham stated that, under a Medham-led government, passengers using public transport on Sundays would no longer be required to tap on with a smart rider card. Additionally, school children in uniform would be able to travel for free on weekdays without needing to use a smart rider. The government, on the other hand, emphasised that smart riders are needed on free Sundays to measure patronage.
Still encourage people to use their smart rider card, but we will also undertake monitoring and surveying on the free public transport days and also for students as well. It doesn't need to be overly complicated, and the fact that we are fining individuals on free public transport days and charging students for what is meant to be free travel illustrates the Cook Labor government are out of touch with Western Australians who are struggling to make ends meet.
WA will be the first place in the world to sell a take-home male fertility test kit. The kit has been developed by Australian health tech company Sapien, and it will be distributed by a WA-based pharmacy, Pharmacy 777. The founder and chief executive of Sapien said that the kit is like a pregnancy test kit. Thanks to the technology used in the kit, samples of the sperm can survive for up to 72 hours, much longer than what in a clinical test can typically give, which is 1 hour. It is also 135.4% more accurate than other tests on the market. And the health tech company won the most innovative company for the health industry at the Australian Financial Review 2024 Boss Award. In Australia, 1 out of 6 couples struggle with infertility issues.
The Cook Labor government has announced the opening date of the new pedestrian and cyclist bridge over the Swan River, connecting Victoria Park to Perth via Harrison Island. The 6-metre cable-stayed bridge will open on Sunday, December 22nd, with a family-friendly community event to celebrate. The new bridge will enhance connectivity, safety and amenities for around 3,000 pedestrians and cyclists travelling in and out of the city each day. Once open, the bridge will be officially named Borloo Bridge, for Noongar name for Perth. The bridge will also feature state-of-the-art lighting capable of displaying moving images. The project has supported around 70 jobs and is a joint venture funded by the WA and Australian governments. More details about the free community event will be announced in the coming weeks.
And now here's Dr. Andrew Miller with his weekly medical and news commentary.
Hi, thanks for your time. It's with some distress that we note that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been touted by President-elect Donald Trump as the next Secretary of Health for the United States. To give a position with such gravitas to someone who's a known anti-vaxxer and conspiracy theorist really is very unfortunate, because it means we're going to have to triple down on efforts to educate the Australian public about the importance of vaccination and of not going along with conspiracy theories. The record of Robert Kennedy is unfortunate in that he has supported a lot of bizarre and unproven theories about health, and he doesn't come from a health background. He's an environmental lawyer by training, and he really has bought into some very disturbing theories surrounding COVID, around HIV, and in particular, he likes to drag up the much disproven link between vaccines, particularly the MMR vaccine, and autism. That's one of the things in medicine that's been proven, perhaps more than anything else, that there is no causal link between vaccination and autism. And it's a cruel thing to suggest, because it preys upon that vulnerable sector of our community who are affected by autism and who are looking for solutions to that problem. So very distressing. We will need to be on our guard against misinformation getting a leg up from this particular appointment if the US Senate confirms it, and hopefully they won't. after they look at some of his comments, which have even unfortunately been racist. So a reminder that we're pretty lucky in Australia, although we do have our disagreements with the public health authorities from time to time. At least they're not a bunch of conspiracy theory nut jobs. Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, Doctor. And now, speaking of exciting news, the new footbridge called Boorloo Bridge to Harrison Island is opening soon, which will be a great way for families to have a new activity to do with their kids, a great connection to the nature space that's there. And Ivan, I heard that there's going to be projections on the bridge too.
Right, there's a lot of things that we can put on there, lots of different colours. I mean, they already tried that on the Matagara Bridge. That's what I call the Optus Stadium. In fact, I think last week they have a rainbow colour across it. So let me ask you this. What is your favourite animal and what sort of image you want to be projected on there?
I'd definitely love to see the quokka. I think that's probably my favourite Australian animal and one I would definitely like to see projected on the bridge.
Same here. I was just thinking, you know, you thought about selfie opportunities. You don't have to go all the way to Rottnest.
That's so true. It'll be an amazing opportunity for everyone involved. And now, here's what's coming up on 6 News tonight.
Thanks guys, the top stories we're following here on 6 News. 3 people are dead following a light plane crash in regional Victoria. Labor gain another seat off the Liberals in the Black by-election in South Australia. And later in sport, the Socceroos are preparing for their World Cup qualifying clash against Bahrain on Wednesday. You can watch live 24/7 on the 6 News YouTube channel. For now though guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, and that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website, wamnnews.com.au.
Remember to subscribe to the WAMN Extra News Club so we can continue our work in the community. Full details on wamnews.com.au/news/extra. From Melly, Peter, Paige, myself, wish you good health, good night. See you next Sunday.
Thanks for watching.